जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदा यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण। So this is Canto 5, Chapter 18, verse number 29. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is Gadya, so I will only recite. Hiranymayepi Bhagavan Nivasati Kurmatanum Bibhranastasya Tat Priyatamam Tanu Maryamasaha Varsha Purushaihi Pitruganadhipati Rupadhavati Mantramimam Chanu Japati. So, word to word meaning. Hiranymaye, in Hiranymaya Varsha. Api, indeed. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nivasati, resides, Kurmatanum, the body of a tortoise, Bibhranaha, manifesting, Tasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tat, that, Priyatamam, dearmost, Tanum, body, Aryama, Aryama, the chief resident of Hiranmaya Varsha. Saha, with Varsha Purushaihi, the people of that tract of land. Pitrugana Adhipatihi, who is the chief of the Pitas. Upadhavati, worships in devotional service. Mantram, him. Imam, this. Cha, also. Anujapati, chants. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shukadev Goswami continued, in Hiranmaya Varsha, the Supreme Lord Vishnu lives in the form of a tortoise, Kurma Sharira. This most dear and beautiful form is always worshipped there in devotional service by Aryama, the chief resident of Hiranmaya Varsha, along with the other inhabitants of that land. They chant the following hymns. Purport. The word Priyatama, dearmost, is very significant in this verse. Each devotee regards a particular form of the Lord as most dear. Because of an atheistic mentality, some people think that the tortoise, boar, and fish incarnations of the Lord are not very beautiful. They do not know that any form of the Lord is always fully opulent personality of Godhead. Since one of his opulences is infinite beauty, all the Lord's incarnations are very beautiful and are appreciated as such by devotees. Non-devotees, however, think that Lord Krishna's incarnations are ordinary material creatures, and therefore they distinguish between the beautiful and the not beautiful. A certain form of the Lord is worshipped by a particular devotee because he loves to see that form of the Lord. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Advaita Machyuta Manadi Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha. The very beautiful form of the Lord is always youthful. Sincere servants of a particular form of the Lord always see that form as very beautiful, and thus they engage in constant devotional service to him. Om Adhnyanatimirandhasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swaya Rupaha Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhut Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I seek the blessings of all the devotees present here so that I can speak something properly in parampara. I have no qualification, but because the devotees are giving instruction, so I am daring to sit here and speak something. So till now, so we are reading this 18th chapter of 5th canto. The residents of Jambudvipa offer prayers, and till now there has been description of the residents of Ramyaka Varsha, where Vaivasvat Munu, he is offering prayers to Lord Matsya, the fish incarnation of the Lord. And now this verse onwards, there is a description of Hiranyamaya Varsha. So here, Aryama, who is the chief of residents over there, he is offering prayers to Lord Kurmadev, the form of the tortoise form of the Lord. So, this Hiranyamaya Varsha is on the northern side of Mount Meru, and we see that the form of the Lord over there is the form of tortoise. So this tortoise form of the Lord is the form which helped, as we all know, that it helped demigods and demons to churn the nectar from the ocean, from milk ocean. So here we see that these residents of Hiranyamaya Varsha, they are experiencing such a great love and bliss in worshipping this tortoise form of the Lord, which is existing over there. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, he is making a very important point that how the form of the Lord is absolute. It is not material. It is not subjected to the conditions of this material world. It is an absolute form, and so are the opulences of the Lord, different opulences of the Lord. One of the opulences of the Lord is beauty. So that is also absolute. So here we see that Lord is coming as tortoise. The tortoise is not a very attractive creature in this world, isn't it? Nowadays there is a craze in people that they want to keep turtle, which is a small tortoise, that as a pet. So we know dogs as pet, cats also are as pet, but people keep turtle also as a pet. But tortoise is like very big form of the Lord, big form in general, not of the Lord, but it's just a big form, and generally nobody likes it so much. At the max in the zoo one may go to see that, and people may at the max become little afraid, or at the max some zoologist, they may study various limbs of the tortoise. But nobody feels great affection and love by seeing the tortoise. Very few people are attracted. In fact, frankly speaking, the only creature which is attracted to one tortoise is other tortoise, isn't it? No human beings are so much attracted to tortoise. But when Lord comes here as tortoise, the beauty of the Lord far surpasses to any creature in this world. What to speak of this world? Even in the heavens, no man, no woman can equal the beauty of the Supreme Lord, even as a tortoise, when the Lord comes in that form. Although the residents of heaven are known to be very beautiful, but their beauty is nothing in front of the beauty of this Lord coming as tortoise. So that's why, Srila Prabhupada in the 25th verse, 4 verses before the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that there are many incarnations of the Supreme Lord: Varaha Murti, the boar form; Kurma Murti, the tortoise form; Hayagriva Murti, the form of a horse, and so on. Yet we should never think of them material. They are always situated on the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure transcendence. So conditioned souls in this world in general, they have got this strong mentality of being an enjoyer. The conditioned soul thinks himself to be an enjoyer of everything around. And as long as one has got this mentality of being an enjoyer, till that time, one is always plagued with a disease of being highly attached to body, senses, and the objects of the senses. And whatever one perceives through the senses and body, that's what appears to be attractive. And these attraction and repulsions are simply the products of the material vision. So this material vision is the greatest disease of the conditioned soul. And because of that, the conditioned soul always has this attraction towards certain things, attachment towards certain things, and repulsion towards certain things. But as long as one is having this mentality, and as long as one has this material vision, one cannot actually understand the form of the Lord. One cannot actually see the beauty of the Lord. So only and only when the conditioned soul gives up this enjoyment mentality, gives up this mentality of seeing the things through material vision, then only the Supreme Lord's actual form, actual beauty, his actual opulences are revealed. So that's why this service attitude or service mentality is a very, very important factor in order to understand the form of the Lord. Without that, even if a person may try to understand with his great efforts or with the help of other people, he cannot understand the form of the Lord. So, Lord Krishna, he reveals himself in his different incarnation based on this particular mentality of service, based on the particular mentality of devotion which we have towards him. So, unless and until we have got this attitude of service towards the Lord or attitude of love and devotion towards the Lord, we cannot understand him. In fact, when a devotee loves the Lord, he serves the Lord with devotion, that time Lord personally inspires attraction towards him in the heart of that devotee. And that's how the devotee gets attracted towards the Lord. So in this way, without the mercy of the Lord, without the grace of the Lord, nobody can be even attracted to the Lord, neither one can understand the Lord. So we see that one of the forms of the Lord is deities, isn't it? Deities are called as Archa Avatar. It is also one of the incarnation of the Lord. So for some people, when they come and see the deities, for some people of the other religions, the deity is simply a disturbance. In fact, it is a deviation from the form of religion. That's what they consider to be. For some people, deity is like some item put in museum. You just come and see and just go away. On the other hand, we see certain devotees, they have practically dedicated their entire life. They are ready to sacrifice everything for the service of the deity. So, we see there are so many pastimes also that, and for them the Lord reveals, isn't it? Lord reveals himself in various forms, in various pastimes, so that devotee can personally appreciate the form of the Lord, and Lord talks. Lord talks with this Lord in the form of deity. He talks with the devotee. He shows pastimes to the devotee. So all this is the big differences of the mentality of a person. Actually, what is the value of this material vision? In this world, material vision, we see, it is so defective and so relative. What appears to be beautiful is so temporary in this world. For some time, the beauty of this world remains and it fades away. And our vision is also so relative in this world, isn't it? For example, for a man, a beautiful form of woman may be very attractive. But for tiger, that form is simply a lunchbox, isn't it? The tiger doesn't feel any attraction towards that form, isn't it? So it is so relative. So on the other hand, there is so defective also. Because what appears to be very beautiful is not actually very beautiful, isn't it? Like, again, the different living forms in this world. What is that? That is basically so many abominable substances packaged in a very nice packaging, very nice, Brahmaji has given a very nice packaging, and they look attractive in some way. So one devotee was telling that if you just remove 1 millimeter skin of any person or any form, the form will be so horrible to look at, isn't it? And even other beauties of this world, like nature's beauty, they are also very, very temporary. Once upon a time, one devotee said to Srila Prabhupada that this nature is so beautiful. Prabhupada said, yes, but it is only from distance. When we go closer, then we understand, oh, it's not that beautiful, isn't it? So in this way, whatever material vision we have towards the different things of this world, they are very, very defective. And due to this material vision, the biggest problem with this material vision is that when there are divine personalities exhibited, or divine personalities exhibited, one tends to take them ordinary. So the person with material vision, he thinks divine things to be ordinary, and he thinks ordinary things to be very divine. This is the biggest disease of the person in material world. But herein we see that how Kurma, Lord Kurma is described as very, very attractive, isn't it? The word used here is Priyatamam, isn't it? So Prabhupada has translated it as most dear and most beautiful form, isn't it? So this is the form of the Lord which is completely spiritual, Satchidananda Vigraha form of the Lord. So the material tortoise at the max, we may just like it. But is it that, are we willing to surrender ourselves completely? Is it that any person can surrender himself and sacrifice everything of his life for the sake of such a tortoise? No. But here we see that the residents of Hiranmaya Varsha, they are ready to sacrifice everything. They are ready to surrender themselves completely for the worship of this tortoise form of the Lord. So in this way, we should understand that when the Lord comes in a various incarnations, all these incarnations are completely transcendental. So Lord is not just a boar, ordinary boar, or ordinary tortoise, or ordinary horse, which we see in this material world. The Lord is supreme controller, supremely attractive, supremely merciful form. And Lord reveals himself based on how we approach him. Ye yathamam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajameham. So we take example of Shaligram Shila. Now Shaligram Shila, what it is for an external vision? It is just a stone, isn't it? Irregularly shaped stone. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur would condemn also, isn't it? That sometimes the pujari takes Shaligram Shila for breaking badam, isn't it? So for him, it is just a stone. But for a devotee who has got devotion towards the Lord, that Shaligram Shila can manifest the beautiful form of the Lord in front of him. The Brahmana who came to Navadip, he was carrying Shaligram Shila of Gopal, isn't it? He came at the Jagannath Mishra's house. He was just carrying a Shaligram Shila. But with such a great love and devotion, he was worshipping this Shaligram Shila. He used to offer bhoga to this Shaligram Shila. He used to serve. He used to worship. In fact, the Shaligram Shila would be wet from the tears of ecstasy, coming from the eyes of this Brahmana. So, he could see the form of his Gopal, threefold bending form of his Supreme Lord in this Shaligram Shila. So we see that because this devotee had that vision of that attitude of love and devotion, Lord manifested himself, and Lord inspired that love and devotion unto himself in this Brahmana. And for such a person, the form of Shaligram can be much more dear, much more attractive than for a Kanishtha or a materialistic person, what he can see the beautiful forms of Radha Vrindavan Chandra we are seeing here. So even though we see that the deities, they may be very attractive for a devotee, But for a karmi person, he cannot appreciate the beauty much. Neither can he understand the beauty. Whereas a person, a devotee with devotion towards the Lord, even the Shaligram Shila, which apparently cannot be, the beauty of the Shaligram Shila cannot be perceived so well by mortal eyes, but that Shaligram Shila will be very, very attractive and very, very beautiful. So, this is how the whole point is that Lord reveals his opulences by his causeless mercy to the proportion of our service attitude and our love. So here, these residents of Hiranyamaya Varsha, we see that how much they are attracted to this Kurma form of the Lord. So we see that these are these particular Jambudvip and these various Varshas are there. They are considered to be like heavenly planets. That is Bhusvarga, isn't it? And they may be having so much different forms of enjoyment. But the residents of this particular planet, this particular Varsha, they don't care for any of these enjoyments. They don't care for any other things. They just want to worship this Kurma Rupa of the Lord. They just want to serve this Kurma Rupa of the Lord. They just want to offer prayers with great love and devotion towards the form of the Lord. So, Srila Prabhupada, he explains in the purport that a devotee, according to the particular inclination of a devotee to serve, the Supreme Lord becomes pleased to manifest the various forms of his own. He reveals his different forms to a devotee according to his particular inclination. That's why Advaitam Achyuta Anadi Ananta Rupam, he has got unlimited forms. So one devotee was asking one of the Prabhupada disciples that why there are so many different forms of the Lord. And the immediate answer of that Prabhupada disciple was that just to reciprocate love with a devotee in a particular mood. So Lord manifests himself in various forms just so that different devotees can see him in their particular inclination and worship him and offer their service unto him. So in Bhakti Ratnakar, there is a description of one devotee named Vasudev. So he knew about form of the Lord Ram, and he studied various incarnations of the Lord. So amongst all the incarnations, he was very desperately wanting to see the form of the Lord as Varahadev, boar incarnation. So one may be surprised. And he performed great austerities, great tapasya to see the form of Varahadev. So one may be surprised, why Varahadev? Why not Krishna? Why not Ram? Or why not Mohini Murti? But he was so, with full attention, with full concentration, he just wanted to get the darshan of the form of Lord Varahadev. And seeing his intensity, seeing his desire, Lord Varahadev manifested himself in Koladvip. Koladvip is the place where that pastime happened. And Lord manifested himself as Varahadev over there for him, isn't it? So that particular form of the Lord was so attractive to him. And that's why he was worshipping. He was praying for that particular form. And Lord gave him darshan, isn't it? So similarly, we see ordinary boar of this material world is not at all attractive. In fact, we feel, quite a bit repulsion by seeing the Varaha form of this world, But when Supreme Lord came as Varahadev in 3rd canto, there is a description of Varahadev. So Lord Varahadev was so beautiful. His eyes were like lotus. We generally don't see Varaha, the boar of this world, their eyes are not like lotus. In fact, that is very dirty. But this particular form of the Lord, when he came as Varahadev, it was so beautiful, lotus-like eyes. His body was glowing with effulgence, isn't it? And he had a beautiful paws and hooves. So in this way, he was very, very attractive. And usually, when any hog, he shouts, how we feel very disgusted. But then when Supreme Lord, as Varahadev, he roared loudly, that time all the knowledge was revealed. Because before that they were conjuncturing, whether this is demon or this is demigod or this is Lord, what is this form? But then Lord by his roar, he made all the residents of heavenly planets understand that he is Sakshat, directly Supreme Lord. He is the incarnation of Supreme Lord. And then they began to offer Purush Sukta prayers for worshipping him. And this again, the boer in this world, they have the tendency to give a jerk to their body in a particular way. And what splashes around is all dirty waters of gutter. So we don't want to even go near to that. We don't even wish that even one drop of that water should fall upon us, isn't it? In fact, it so falls, we'll immediately go and take bath. But when Varahadev, Supreme Lord, when he gave jerk like that, the water splashed all over in the heavenly planets. And even the residents of heavenly planets, they felt themselves purified by such water coming from the Varahadev. So from this we can understand that the form of the Lord is absolute and his beauty, his every activity is absolute. It cannot be compared into the material world. So we should not bring Krishna down to our mentality. This is the typical condition of a neophyte devotee like myself, that always calculating things based on the material terms, always trying to see things on the material terms and making the judgments based on the limited perceptions of our eyes and our ears. So sometimes we see these ancient deities, they are not as beautiful, external looking as the modern deities which are there. Of course, by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have got such beautiful deities in our ISKCON that even a non-devotee can appreciate them also, even from an external point of view. But sometimes we see that the ancient deities which are there, they are not so beautiful looking from a materialistic point of view. If we go South India, this deity, Utsav Vigraha of Balaji, if you see, it's called as Malayappa Swami. So the features are not very clearly visible, isn't it? It looks like some plain face. Similarly, there also, Srirangam, there is Namperumal, again small deity of Ranganath. Also, we see, if you see the photo or if you see that deity, only very hardly the nose is visible of the Lord. That's it. And the lips, that's it. But we see that how many beautiful, wonderful pastimes these deities of Namperumal has done. Also, we see that since generations together, since thousands and thousands of years, the great devotees, they have worshipped this form and they have considered this form to be so dear, so lovable. In fact, they have completely dedicated their lives just to worship this particular form of the Lord. Even Kanchipuram, if we go, that again small deities, Usta Vigraha, we see, there are so many marks, isn't it? And it looks in the beginning, due to material vision, it looks little, what is this, what is this form of the Lord, some said it is due to, Lord came due to fire, or some others say that it because of some invasion, Muslim invasion, the form of the Lord became like that. But we see that the devotees there, they worship that form with so much love and devotion, isn't it? Even we go to Vrindavan and other places, Goswami's deities, they may not appear so attractive from an external point of view. But we see that the Goswamis, they used to feel such a great affection and love towards those forms. In fact, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions that don't go to Keshi Ghat because there is Lord Govinda Dev standing over there. And if you go there, the beauty of Supreme Lord Govinda Dev, it will completely enchant you and you will forget all your material possession, designations, attachments, everything. That's what will happen to you. So we have seen also Govinda Dev so many times, isn't it? But nothing like that much happens with us. But that's what, for Rupa Goswami, it's the most attractive, very, very beautiful form. And about Srila Prabhupada also, there are the deities, Radha Govinda Dev deities Prabhupada used to worship. And we hear in the Leelamrut that, Prabhupada would be, as a child, he would be gazing at the forms of Radha Govinda Dev for hours together. So now if we go, at least again the fallen soul like myself, they are nice form. Govinda Dev, Radha Govinda Dev, they are nice. But to gaze at them for hours together appears to be quite difficult. So why this is so? because of having that material vision. A person like me who has got material vision, I cannot understand this form of the Lord properly. And that's why I don't feel that attraction and affection towards the Lord. Whereas the great devotees, they can actually understand and see the spiritual beauty of the Lord. And that's why they can gaze at the Lord, they can take darshan of the Lord for hours together, they can devote their complete heart for the service of the Lord. So that's why it is very important that we don't judge the things by our material senses. When Krishna appears, our attraction towards him cannot be based on some superficial sentiments or some materialistic vision. Our attraction has to be based on the love. That's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would again and again say, don't try to see Krishna, because you cannot see Krishna. We cannot see Krishna. That's why he would say that try to serve Krishna in such a way that Krishna reveals himself. Krishna wants to see you. Krishna reveals himself towards you. So this is a very, very important instruction for a sadhaka, because more and more we render service to the Lord, more and more we try to express our love and devotion towards the Lord, more the Lord will be pleased to reveal his supremely attractive transcendental form in front of us. So we see that, even though Krishna was there, sometimes we may think that if Krishna will be there, I'll be really attracted towards him. But when Krishna was also on this planet, yes, of course, different people, they were having attraction towards the Lord, but there were so many people who had aversion towards him also, isn't it? When Krishna appeared, he was, our Shishupal or Kamsa, they did not get attracted towards Krishna. Although he was such a great darling for Brajvasis, all the Mathuravasis, when Krishna came, they were gazing at Krishna constantly. They were not, in fact, the gopis, we know that they cursed Brahmadev, that why you have made eyelids, because of which the beautiful vision of Krishna is being interrupted. But for Kamsa, Krishna, appeared to be an enemy, isn't it? For Chanurmushti, Krishna appeared to be enemy. And in fact, their only desire was to somehow or other kill Krishna, isn't it? Similarly, for Prahlad Maharaj, when Narsimhadev appeared, for Prahlad Maharaj, Narsimhadev was such an enchanting form, such a respect, such a love Prahlad Maharaj had towards Narsimhadev. But same Narsimhadev appeared to be an enemy and appeared to be the object of hatred for Hiranyakashipu. And he wanted to kill that Narsimhadev's form. So, even though Supreme Lord may appear in his original form in this world, it is not that without proper affection and love and service attitude, we will be able to appreciate that form. It is not possible. Only and only when that particular devotion like Prahlad Maharaj or the Brajvasis, that invokes within our heart, then only that attraction towards the Lord will be invoked. So this is the difference, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says, this is the difference between neophyte devotee or a non-devotee and a devotee who is actually striving to make real progress. Maharaj says that a neophyte devotee remains too attached to the external forms, to the external rituals. Whereas a devotee who is actually aspiring for real advancement, he understands that all these forms of the Lord and the rituals, various rituals one performs, they are a facility and opportunity to surrender our life at the lotus feet of the Lord and awaken love towards Him. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, this particular aspect of Lord revealing His form in reciprocation to a devotee's particular inclination to serve is very nicely stated. So when Sanatana Goswami, he came to Jagannath Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed him that his younger brother Anupam had left his body. So that time Sanatana Goswami was recollecting that he said, my brother Anupam, he was a very great devotee of Ram. His worshipable deity was Ram. And one point of time, we both brothers, Rup and myself, we instructed him. We told him that, my dear Anupam, my dear Vallabha, this particular form of Krishna, it is the most attractive form. Krishna is Akhila Rasamrut Murti. So we should worship Krishna. He is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. So please, divert your attention to worship of Krishna. And all three of us together, brothers, will worship Krishna very nicely. And then Anupam took the instruction of Rupa and Sanatan, and he considered this, and he told them that please initiate me in the mantra for worship of Krishna. And then next day, Anupam approached Rupa and Sanatan, and he said that, my dear brothers, please forgive me. It is so difficult for me to take away my attention from the form of Lord Ramachandra. So Anupam says, Raghunathera pada padme vechayona matha kaditena paro matha paya bada vyatha. He says, I have sold my head at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. And if even the thought of taking my attention from Lord Ramachandra gives me extreme pain. Krupa kari more agya deha doi jana janme janme sevo raghu nathera charana. So he says, very simple, that please, both of you, give me your mercy so that life after life, I would like to just serve Lord Raghunath. Raghunathera pada padma chadaya na paye chadi bara mana haile prana phati jai. He says that I cannot give up the lotus feet of Raghunath in any condition. Even that thought, really breaks my heart. So in this way, Rupa Sanatan Goswami told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that when we saw this unflinching love Anupam had towards Raghunath, we embraced him and we told him that we were just testing. And certainly you can worship, Lord Raghunath. We very much appreciate you. And that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied that similarly I tested also Murari Gupta. I also told Murari Gupta that Krishna's form is the essence of all incarnations. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So rather than worshipping Lord Ramachandra, you please worship Krishna. And same thing, Murari Gupta also next day, he approached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, my dear Lord, please give me permission to end my life. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why? Because on one side you have given me instruction to worship Krishna. But on the other hand, I am not able to give up the worship of Lord Raghunath. My heart is always at the lotus feet of Raghunath. So because of doing this, I am committing an offense towards you by disregarding your instruction. That's why I want to give up my life. So again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that time he embraced him and he said, no, it is so wonderful. I am so happy to see your devotion towards Lord Ramachandra and you continue to worship him. In fact, in that connection only, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made these beautiful statements. Sei bhakta dhanya yena chhade prabhu charana sei prabhu dhanya yena chhade nija jana durdeve sakala yadi jaye anya sthane sei thakur dhanya tare chule dhariyane. He says that devotee is greatest who never wants to give up the lotus feet of his own Lord. And that Lord is also great who never gives up his own devotees. If by some great misfortune, the servant, he goes away from the feet of the Lord, that great Lord, what he does, he catches the devotee by his hair and brings him back at his own lotus feet. So in this way, we see that based on the particular inclination of devotee to serve the Lord, Lord manifests himself, and there is such a wonderful reciprocation of love and such deep relationship of the love between that particular devotee and the Supreme Lord. And in this way, Lord can appear in unlimited form in order to reciprocate love with his devotees. And that's how Krishna consciousness is not a sectarian movement. Why? Because Lord can appear in so many varieties of ways. And a devotee who has real love towards the Lord can also appreciate the form of the Lord in a different ways. When the same Lord appears in different ways, a devotee appreciates those particular forms of the Lord and he worships also. So the example is given just like a dog. He identifies his master. Any form, any dress the master may come in, isn't it? Sometimes the master may come in dhoti kurta. Sometimes the master may come in shirt pant, But the dog never forgets his master. He can very easily identify his master in any form. Same way, the Supreme Lord, he appears in so many varieties of forms, and a devotee who has developed real love towards the Lord, actual devotion towards the Lord, he is able to appreciate the varieties of various forms of the Lord, and he understands them to be completely transcendental, and is able to worship them, offer his respectful obeisances towards them, and he feels greatly joyful by seeing these different forms of the Lord. So we see Shukadev Goswami. Who is Shukadev Goswami in the spiritual world? He is parrot of Srimati Radharani. He is witnessing most intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna taking place in Golok Vrindavan Dham. But at the same time, Shukadev Goswami, he is with such a great ecstasy, he is narrating various pastimes of these various incarnations. The incarnation of Kurmadev, incarnation of Varahadev, incarnation of Narsimadev, all these various incarnations, Shukadev Goswami, he is describing them in great ecstasy. And also, Shukadev Goswami, he is also narrating about the devotion of the devotees of these particular incarnations also, in the great respect and appreciation, isn't it? So for Vaivasvat Munu or for Satyavrat Muni, this form of Matsya was most attractive. For Bali Maharaj, this Vaman Dev was very attractive. For Prahlad Maharaj, Narsim Dev form was very attractive. So Shukadev Goswami is respecting these devotees, is appreciating and adoring these devotees for their particular devotion they manifest towards their particular form of the Lord. So that's why he can see that it is his own Krishna manifesting in various forms. And in this way there is such a nice, we can say, not exactly cooperation, harmony, yes, very nice harmony between the different devotees of the Lord. There is no scope for fighting or quarreling which form of the Lord is beautiful or which form of the Lord is better. There is a very nice harmony between the different devotees and different devotees who are the devotees of different forms of the Lord. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Kurmakshetra, so as far as I know, there is only this one temple of Lord Kurmadev. Of course, you may be knowing some other temples may be there. But this temple, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached to Kurmakshetra, he was there chanting and dancing in such a great ecstasy in the form of Kurmadev. In fact, his limbs were trembling, his hairs were standing on end, the tears were pouring from his eyes while he was worshipping Kurmadev, isn't it? So he was seeing the beauty of Krishna in the form of Kurmadev. So that's why His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says, to love Krishna means to love everything about Krishna, and to love Krishna's relationship in different ways with other devotees in various forms. So to love Krishna means to love everything about Krishna and to love Krishna's relationship in different ways with other devotees. Basically means to love, understand and appreciate different forms of the Lord, and also to appreciate the devotees who have got great love towards those different forms of the Lord. So to conclude with, we will just read this particular verse which comes in 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, chapter number 13, verse number 2. So I'll just read the translation because time is already up. So translation is like this. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Kurma, a tortoise, his back was scratched by the sharp-edged stones lying on massive whirling Mount Mandar, and this scratching made the Lord sleepy. May you all be protected by the winds caused by the Lord's breathing in this sleepy condition. Even since that time, even up to present day, the ocean tides have imitated the Lord's inhalation and exhalation by piously coming in and going out. So purport, Srila Prabhupada disciples, they have given the commentary by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Says, at times we alleviate an itching sensation by blowing upon it. Similarly, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains, the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can alleviate the itching sensation within the minds of mental speculators, as well as the itching of material senses of conditioned souls engaged in sense gratification. Thus, by meditating on the windy breath of Lord Kurma, the tortoise incarnation, all the categories of conditioned souls can be relieved of the deficiencies of material existence and come to the liberated spiritual platform. One must simply allow the pastimes of Lord Kurma to blow within one's heart like a favorable breeze, and then one will surely find spiritual peace. So I pray at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord that these breezes coming from the Lord, they purify my materialistic mentality, and I can get the real, actual spiritual vision to see the form of the Lord. Thank you all very much for your patient listening. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Kurmadev Bhagwan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.